Hey, welcome to the show. I'm here today with Jamie Crowe, a prolific volunteer, president of the Rotary Club, I think membership coordinator at South Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce, former board member with me on the Shine Foundation. Jamie, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you, Travis?
Doing fabulous as always. We just recorded this. I just had my 40th birthday party, 40. I'm finally in the fourth decade of my life, whatever the heck that means, who knows. But here I am, ready to go. Uh, Bright sunshiny day, like the clouds all cleared up. It's kind of nice out now. Is it cold out? Have you been outside? Is it cold?
No, it's gorgeous. I worked out this morning and it was a nice breezy morning. It's not bad.
Love it. Yesterday was absolutely gorgeous here in Oklahoma City. It was like 75 degrees or something.
Yes, I was out marketing most of yesterday. Got 3 members actually from yesterday's great weather. So everybody was feeling it, I guess, yesterday.
Oh yeah, everybody's feeling it. Since I've been done with the Navy, I really haven't left my house too much, so I haven't had the need to. It's kind of weird, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about Jamie and all the great stuff she does with organizations like the South Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce and the Rotary Club, which you're the president, right?
Yes, I'm currently our club president for Rotary Club of South Oklahoma City. District 5750 is our Rotary district, but currently serving as our president. This is my second year to serve. My first year was 2015, 2016. So I feel like I know what I'm doing a little bit.
Oh, I think you know what you're doing. It's interesting because I didn't know. I knew that the Chamber of Commerce and the Rotary Club were 501c6s, which is a membership organization, but you also both have foundations and are also a 501c3. What the heck does that look like? How do you differentiate between one and the other?
Well, for the Rotary, it was established before my time, but they really wanted to have a specific fundraising effort. And so when folks do donate and they want that tax write-off, the powers that be prior to me knew the value of having a foundation set up. And we do have two boards. They do meet. We don't necessarily pull money from our foundation. It kind of just sits in, there's a little bit of a pot growing there. We do a lot of fundraising. We do a lot with our Rotary Club groups and our members. But when there's specific earmark donations where they want that tax write-off, or in regards to they specify that they want it to go to our foundation, then we make sure it gets put there. For Rotary, I mean, for the chamber, one of our things that we do with our foundation is we've taught children how to swim. We provided them with swim lessons at Woodson Park a few years back. So, when we truly are reaching back out to the community with and being a good steward of those dollars that are coming in, those foundations really keep us on track and doing things for the right reason for the ones who have contributed toward that cause. So a lot of community engagement and reach out can be done through our foundation. So we wanted to give people the option. It's not just that reason alone, because we do understand the value of having a foundation.
Oh, absolutely. That's so cool. I really kind of wish I would have known that years past, but I guess I really didn't have a need to know. So I know now, I'm caught up, and all the listeners out there, you now know that Chamber of Commerce's and Rotary clubs all have foundations aside with them, which is really, really cool. Or is it not
I
all of
don't
them?
know
Is
if
it just
all of them
yours?
do, but ours does. I don't know if all of them do. It is something that you would have to form within your board of directors. So we're lucky enough to have a foundation at the South Oklahoma City Rotary Club. So
Look, South OKC is the best. I live here, you live here. Let's be honest, it's one of the better parts of town to live in, and really one of the better parts of the country, let's be honest.
we're crossroads of America. That is exactly South Oklahoma City. So when I talk about that, I'm a first generation Oklahoman. So for me, I brag and brag, and yeah, my roots are so deep in South Oklahoma City that I never foresee myself really moving anywhere else. So
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. But you guys are doing really good things with the Rotary Club right now. And you talked about some of those specific things before we got the show started. You guys are raising money right now to help refugees. And before you jump into that, those of you listening, there's refugees in every single state in the US. So if you saw in the news that Afghan refugees are coming to your state, take a look and see what other groups of people are already there. I know in Minnesota, where I'm from originally, there's Somalians and Hmongs and Iraqis and even some Mexicans. So just depends on what state you're in, depends on what group of people ended up there. But every state already has refugees. But what is the Rotary doing for the refugees in Oklahoma City?
One of the things we recently have decided is what is it going to what does the budget look like to sponsor a family? We obviously can't sponsor everyone. And so if we could pick a family and really kind of help them with the materials that they need, it's about $5,000 per family. And that does include housing, furniture, necessities, clothing. And so right now, just in 1 month, we raised $500, and we're a small club. We have less than 45 people. But what we do well in our district is we really look at other clubs and say, if this is what we do, would you be willing to do that? Would you be willing to match what we raise? And so we didn't really do that up front. We decided as a Rotary Club that we would raise money throughout the entire month of October. And the next phase, what we're going to do is really hit some of our contacts at Midwest City Rotary, Northwest Rotary, Club 29, which is downtown, and really see which other club members can match that $500. And so our goal is to raise $5,000 for a family that is here in Oklahoma City. I believe that the Catholic Charities is the one that we're working really closely with, and they're telling us things that they don't need or specific items that they do need. Most of these women, they're going to wear things that are big, covering up a lot of stuff. And so they're asking for oversized women clothes, just things that they can find that they're comfortable with what they had before. And so we're just making sure that we stay close contact with the Catholic Charities. And when we do turn over the money that we've raised, we'll kind of make it more public and be grateful for the ones who supported us in making an impact in these refugees' families. So.
You see, I love how you're doing that and how you're working together with not only your own organization, different offices and different clubs around the metro area, but you're also working with Catholic Charities. A lot of times I talk to nonprofits and they're not interested in talking to other organizations. Why do you think it's important to work with other organizations, and why do you think Rotary does such a great job of that?
We believe in a network of resources. And so you'll find like-minded individuals as far as Rotarians. The more connections that we make throughout the world, and especially in our community, the better the impact can be made. And because there's always some kind of common, service above self, or, the four-way test, these are real things that keep us in line with our code of ethics. And if we do sign up to do something, kind of has to pass that test. So when you do work with other organizations, you'll find that the ones that have the same parallel purpose, mission, and just focus, why wouldn't we work with them? We don't want to compete with them. And so there's ways that we can work together. And one of the other things, every year Rotary has a theme. And our theme this year for 2022 is serve to change lives. Not sure every year why they have a theme, how they come up with it, but when I was a president before, it was be a gift to the world. And I really lived up to that. I felt like I need to give back my time, all kinds of things. Right now, with this being the theme for all Rotarians, what are we doing to change the lives of people, to change the generations of the folks that are moving in? We have a refugee in our club right now. And when he came here from China, he knows exactly what it feels like. And so he's really proud of the fact that we want to wrap ourselves around these individuals. And as a club that's smaller than 50 people, we can't raise all the money. We can't ask our Rotarians to keep putting money, taking money from their pockets. But we know with our district and the clubs throughout our district, it is a district outreach. It's not just our club. So I don't know if I answered all those questions, but.
Yeah, I think that you did. It's interesting in there that you're not competing, right? You have that abundance mindset. And I've been talking to a lot of nonprofits this year, and I try to categorize them as soon as I can, whether they're abundance mindset or scarcity mindset. If you're out there listening to this and you know that you guys seem like you're fighting for every single dollar that you raise, know that there's a better way to do it. Please, please, please know that there's a better way to do it. You're not in competition. But there's so much money out there. There's so many people looking to give. And if you line with what they're trying to do and help them accomplish their goals, you're going to be able to accomplish whatever goal you're trying to do. Now, you mentioned the four-way test, and I know
Yeah.
that's a Rotarian thing specifically. What is the four-way test? Is it like a decision-making process? What is that?
It's definitely that if you as an individual were asked to do something, and you process every decision that you make as an organization and as a board, when we are presented with a project or something of this nature that they want us to participate in, we sit down and look at, is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Is it beneficial to all concerned? And I just realized I forgot the fourth one. Is it beneficial to all concerned? No. Okay. I'm
Goodwill
scratching.
and better friendships.
Is it the truth? I forgot the very first
Is it
thing.
the
Is it the
truth?
truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? The last and most important, will it be beneficial to all concerned? So if I was one way with a decision making, process and didn't include my board, it's not fair to all concerned. And so that's really something that as Rotarians, when we present a project or an opportunity, it should have already kind of passed that test. And in life and in business, as an entrepreneur, if you want to establish some code of ethics in your own business, I encourage you to really put that through the smell test, through the Rotary four-way test. Anything and everything that you do as a business owner, the partnerships that you create, the people that you hire to represent your company. I've learned by being a Rotarian that there are organizations right now, Walgreens is one of them, in their employee handbook is the four-way test. And so it gives me a sense of pride when I shop at Walgreens, knowing that the foundation of this business and the owners and the founders of this organization have a staple of the four-way test as part of their code of ethics. And so for me, a lot of businesses may not even know, individuals may not know, but I would encourage you to figure out how to implement that in your life, either as an individual or running an organization or a company. Four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build better will and better friendships? And is it beneficial to all concerned? So definitely look into that and you won't be disappointed.
Oh, I love that. What kind of people decide to become Rotarians?
Here lately, because I do a lot on social media, I have a lot of people really asking me, what does the Rotary Club do? And they're in I don't want to say in bad people, but in most people that have good intentions, they want to give back. And it's not a networking opportunity, even though you build relationships with people and you may do business with these people. The whole purpose of us coming together is to serve above self. So you already have people who are servant leaders in a community. And so by recognizing these people, by sharing the things that we do, the toy drives, the pancake fundraising, the calendar of events that we have going on, and when they see that we're doing things with the community, seniors, children, literacy, we've got one of the ongoing things that our club does is a book collection. We're a steward of a little library, and that means we have to keep it stocked. And so when people see there's posts out there of service above self and what we've done together, a lot of people want to know more. And when they learn that Rotary is a civic minded organization and our purpose is to serve above self, it really fills a void in an individual where their good intentions can have a channel of level of participation. So it could be sorting onions at the food bank that they're going to have to do because the food bank can't pay for all these people to work, so they rely on volunteers. We also every year ring the bell for Salvation Army. Last year, my husband dressed up as the Grinch, and he's dressing up as the Grinch this year. And to see smiles on people's faces and handing out candy canes, and even if they donate $1, a quarter, the Salvation Army wants people that are excited to do things and not just volunteer because they've been told to. So with Rotarians, they naturally want to volunteer, and it gives them an opportunity to do that through a Rotary Club. And like I said, we have so many throughout the world. So there's an opportunity wherever you are to give back. And I'll give you an example. I travel with the chamber as an executive through different parts of United States. And anytime there is a free day or an afternoon, I always look for a local organization that I can do something to leave a piece of me and then and to take something back as well. And so there was a nonprofit that every single birthday card of the students that they support are handmade birthday cards. So I spent about an hour making, I don't know how many, I don't know who would have gotten them. I know that they would have been like 2 years old and it's Joseph, or a 5-year-old named Samantha. And I don't know, I wish I could see the kids, but I had stencils that all the colors. And to me, someone's going to get that. Someone's going to see a handmade birthday card. And I did that as a Rotarian. I did that because that's kind of what's instilled in me with the other individuals that are part of Rotary that I've met.
Put you on notice, all nonprofits out there. Jamie just might sneak into your town and do something you need done.
Yes. Hashtag service above self. Wherever you're at, there's always something that can be done.
Oh, absolutely. And I know Rotaries everywhere. They were in my hometown of Fergus Falls, Minnesota. Growing up, they were in the Kingdom of Bahrain and Manama when I was there, and they're here in South Oklahoma City, Fiji and Beijing, if I'm not mistaken, from what we said earlier. You just got some new members from overseas.
Yeah, so we have two people that they're from Oklahoma, but prior to the pandemic, they both were in different clubs, one in Beijing, China, and the other one in Fiji. And I don't know the city, I'd have to look, but through our Zoom meetings that we continue to have during 2020, we invited some of those folks to participate via Zoom. So when the dust settled and programs pretty much ended, the lady from Fiji was in the Peace Corps. So for her, her season kind of ended, let's say, and she moved back, but she wanted to find a local Rotary club. And we just inducted her transfer from Fiji, which is phenomenal. And over a year ago, about this time last year, is when we inducted Eddie with the Beijing China Club. And I know one day he'll probably get back to China sooner than later, or hope to. But for now, we stayed engaged. We were connected, and they were both Oklahomans. And so it was nice to kind of see that we've got an international kind of diverse group of people so far. This year alone, this calendar year alone, I've inducted about 6 new members into our club. So historically, I've never seen that many in one year come into a Rotary club. So I think a lot of people came out of 2020 and really wanting to do something to feel like they've accomplished things, and Rotary's given them an opportunity to do that. So, but yeah, Beijing, China, and Fiji, pretty phenomenal. So
that's really cool. I understand Rotary International has grants available for clubs that are looking to get things accomplished. So is that, I kind of imagine that structure as like dues are paid as part of the membership club. Some go back to Rotary International and they take those to help give out grants. Is that about right?
that's exactly right. And it does take about 3 years for the avenue, the money that's coming in, to make some money and get some interest on. And then after about 3 years, there's the opportunity where those grants can come back right to your club throughout the world. So there is a deadline every year. There is paperwork, obviously, for grant requests. And a couple of years ago, we started fundraising for a ropes course, and it's a fully handicap accessible ropes course. And it's a hefty project. It's about $150,000. With a project like that, that's a little bit steep, but let's just say it's a $5,000 project. The Rotary International, if your grant is approved, they're going to pay 2/3 of that project. So our local club can come up with 1/3 of $5,000. And it's huge knowing that the international part of Rotary grants can fund the other 2/3. Now, we did do that at the Veterans Home in Norman. We had a big event where I think you were part of that. We had at the Devon Tower, a veterans banquet, and keynote speakers, everything that you can think of at a banquet, selling a table. But we didn't come up with $12,000, but that was the project. They wanted us to fund a music therapy program. But because we participated in a grant, we were able to take of that $12,000 and really raise 1/3 of that, and know that the international grants approved the difference. And so when we wrote that check, the big old check that said Veterans Home of Norman, $12,000, that's huge. And it was an event that we did that raised 1/3 of the dollars. So that's really fantastic to know that people can get discouraged because of the price of a project, when let's figure out what it's going to take to fully fund that project. So maybe it's 2 or 3 clubs coming up with a third, and then the rest, being fulfilled with the grant. So I think we've just been really creative, and we're, like you said, we're not in competition. What Midwest City is doing is different than what Oklahoma City is doing, but there's a time where we can support each other, and so I think that's really huge. And we hold ourselves accountable. It's kind of a committed action. And it's going to be a project that we can all do within our district. So it makes sense in that regard.
I want to know what it is about you personally that has you. I mean, we were on the board of the Shine Foundation together. You're running the Rotary Club. You were working at the South Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce. What is it about you as a person that really has you driven to help what appears to be as many people as possible?
I don't want to get emotional, but I just finished volunteering for volleyball for the Police Athletic League. So that's an example. I'll just kind of speak on that term. When you see some of these kids that don't have hope, or somebody that they can look up to and really aspire to be one day. And when I tell people I went to that school when I was in 5th grade, they can't believe it. And when I tell them that I graduated from Capitol Hill High School, why would you come back? And I know that there is an opportunity for me to make a difference. And it's like self-satisfaction that someone else has been taken care of. And so I practiced 2 days a week. I met with these girls. We had about an hour and a half of bonding, and they were taught something, and I got something out of it too. And again, I know in the end, there's going to be a benefit for me, but I really want to look at how I can make a difference in an individual or an organization, and know at the end, I'm going to be satisfied with that as well. So from serving on the food bank, letter carrier committee, collecting all those canned goods and non-perishable items, and seeing the smiles of people's faces that are receiving those, there's no price tag on that. And I don't have a pocketbook that I can just write checks for and make a difference, but you better believe I can sign up and I can volunteer my time and I can do it, and still make the same impact and get, for me, more value in doing time with people and organizations than just writing a checkbook or check out of my checkbook. So I feel like there's always something. And if one door opens and another one closes, just keep opening more doors. I mean, it doesn't have to be career change. It can really just be, okay, what's next? What am I going to do now? And so it keeps me young. I have a lot of kids, and I want to lead and give them a legacy of always providing service to an individual or an entity. And, it's amazing, when I did banking for 16 years, people will pay $5 every single week to wear a pair of jeans. So every month we always would give those dollars to somebody, whether if it's a football team, whether if it was, another nonprofit, I would let those kind of employees kind of earmark who's going to benefit from it. And it was nice. Plus, as a company, I always had organizations asking for us to sponsor, and it gave our employees an opportunity to have employee engagement, and not everything's coming out of the corporate budget, but out of a collected effort for folks that just want to be casual and they're going to pay for it. So, you're talking about $120, $150, just depending on how many employees participate. But to give that to a local Girl Scout club, or to give that to, people that are asking companies to sponsor or donate or things of that nature. So I've always not done something as an adult. And I think that it's hard to stop once you have those feelings of satisfaction and peace of mind that you left something better than it was when you got there.
Yes or no? Are you addicted to volunteering?
Yes. Yes.
Trying to make this some kind of ambush show. Tell me right now, Jamie, are you addicted to volunteering? I am addicted.
Yes. I need a cord that says I've done like 1,000 hours or something. Not really, but I think that if we instill that in our youth and give them a sense of pride, it's going to carry them throughout their career and life. So.
No, without a doubt, I fully agree. I mean, my story for a reason I give back and what I do is because I received so many services growing up, because that's just the nature of how it was in my world at the time. And I'm very fortunate to be in a place where I can give back through something like this podcast, or volunteering at whatever Jamie, whatever event Jamie sends my way. She's like, oh, here we go, Travis, want to come hang out again? I do.
Hey, we're looking for ringing of the bell volunteers December 3rd. So let me know. Right down the street from you for sure too. So
yeah, absolutely.
And the other big thing is a lot of people don't participate because they've never been asked. And there's a lot of studies behind people would make decisions. They will volunteer, they will give back, but they've never been asked.
Mhm.
And so we've as a club have been asking for anything and everything from volunteering to recruiting members to handing out, collecting books, all of those things. Like, we need your help. And it's okay to ask. Asking is free. So we're not afraid to ask for help.
I kind of feel sad for the ones that are scared to ask for help, because you already don't have the volunteers. You already don't have the dollars in the bank. You already are getting a no if you don't ask. The only chance you have to get the things that you need to make yourself successful is by asking. And no one got anywhere that they are on their own. You better believe I asked a lot of questions before I started this podcast. You better believe I asked a lot of questions on how to continue and grow it and make it better and all these things. Like, I don't have all the answers, but collectively we can get on the right track and do great things together. So shifting gears a little bit, we'll talk about your other 501c6 project with the South Oklahoma City Chamber. It's a much different kind of mission than the Rotary Club. Like, how is South Oklahoma City Chamber different than what you've been doing with Rotary?
So with it, and I've done the chamber longer than I've done Rotary. The biggest difference is when people join the chamber, it's almost like a survival mode. I mean, they're business owners or their representatives, and not all of them have like a sales quota or objectives, but most of them do. They want to promote their business. They want to stay connected with legislation. They want to attend networking events, all sponsorship opportunities. They're a big company and they want to get their name out there. And so the way to do that is to sponsor through the chamber total resource campaign. Well, with all of that being said, when you walk into a room at the chamber, you're going to have people who are handing out business cards. You're going to have people who want to do their elevator speech. They want to get a business deal closed. And so their mindset is a little bit more goal driven, kind of a financial decision. A lot of people that when it comes to their membership renewal, they'll make a decision, oh, I didn't get a return on my investment. They do it specifically sometimes for not the wrong reason, but they may not let it take its time to develop and to flourish because, they're just looking at it as a fee, and it's $375 to join the chamber. And a year later, if they never attended an event, and that's completely different than Rotary. Rotary wants you there every week. They expect you, if you're not there, to make up, or you're going to be at a volunteer event, so you can't come to the meeting. But truly, consistency is key. And so if the chamber members were very consistent in attending the events that they said that they would be interested in, or engaging in the topics that we are focused on throughout the calendar year, they would measure success better. And so it's really interesting because my financial background has allowed me to, when business owners come in to join the chamber, I'm kind of going through them like a marketing person. I'm going through having conversations about objectives, because as the membership director for the chamber, I would feel like I failed them if I didn't thoroughly, understand their business and kind of who they're wanting to get in front of. And so it's very exciting for me because I get to meet a lot of people. In October, we brought in a guru, a membership guru, and his team in 3 days, and technically 3 shifts, 2 days and 3 shifts. We brought in 123 members of the chamber, and that's huge. We're now sitting at over 800 members. And so as a chamber member, know that they're also going to get opportunity to go to an education banquet where we're making a difference in all of the schools in the metro, students, administrators, and the faculty, as well as tons of business opportunities for networking. So if you truly want to get in front of decision makers, or you're looking to do partnerships, things like that, it's a little bit more of a focused mindset of, return on investment or value added connections and partnerships made versus volunteering. Now, we do have big companies that are part of our chamber that their employees volunteer, and that's fantastic. We love the fact that we can get some really good volunteers because the company that they work for, they're already a good steward and representation of their company. And so why would they not be the same with the chamber? So we look at our ambassadors as really an extension of our volunteers and our staff, and we're always looking for ambassadors. And so we find a lot of people join the chamber because they want to be part of a committee like our leadership ambassador or our board of advisors. Our board of advisor level is a huge one, Travis. So I will tell you that I've been talking since we talked last about our board of advisors, and we've brought in over 20 board of advisors, and half of those board of advisors were upgrades. So people that were paying a basic rate, but were given an opportunity to come to our board meetings. And even if they don't come, they can get the agenda of what the board meetings and the topics that are going to be discussed on that agenda. That is in the know. So as a business owner, as someone who's doing things in the community, you need to know about what is going on and what decisions are being made in organizations such as a chamber. We're doing so much every year. We gave $10,000 scholarships for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years to a student of the year or 2 top nominees of the students of the year. And those weren't our raised dollars. That was Walmart, a big company who partnered with our education banquet, and the recipients of that event, one of them received $10,000. And 3 years in a row, they've done the same thing, but they pick who and they pick how much. And for them to do an event, have a banquet, pick the students, interview the students, would have cost them more than $10,000. So it costs us, but yet their sponsorship, they've got the opportunity to say through the chamber, we are able to make a difference in a student who graduated here at Southeast or Santa Fe South. I think that's where it was. So, but that's the biggest difference is goals and objectives that companies have. And the chambers really truly feel a void in community engagement, not civic engagement, but community engagement. And so the chambers give businesses the opportunity to plug their employees in to do that.
That's really interesting. I love that. And I've been, you've had me as your guest in the Rotary Club a few times. I got a chance to come speak, and I've been a member of the chamber before I went overseas. And since I've been back, COVID and weird stuff, I haven't been back in yet, but it sounds like I need to. It sounds like you got some stuff going on there at the South Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce.
We do. It's definitely a smart decision. And I know every decision is a business decision. So for me, I look at it as we need a diverse group of advisors in that board. And whether they're bankers, nonprofit, educators, when decisions are being made and serving on a board, we've both served on a board before. So, you don't want to have another board meeting to collect the whatnots. You really want people in the room to help provide feedback, really kind of be the experts in their field. And so as things each month happen in an organization, that advisory board really serves a great purpose for our decision-making process. Even though they can't vote, they sure as heck can say, what about this or what about that, or like mental health. We're bringing a guy on board as board of advisors, and he's a physician, and his focus is mental health. There's so many business owners and decision makers in businesses that need to have a really good balance after the last 2 years of making decisions at home and at work, or maybe they figured out work but not at home. And that's a lot of mental, capacity things going on at the same time. And so we need more of those folks that really represent so many different industries in that advisory board opportunity for servicing our community better.
Yeah.
And our members, 800 members, we don't want to be the ones making the decisions for them. We want a really good soundboard. So good feedback.
Yeah, it's really cool. What advice would you have someone out there that's looking to get involved in the community or potentially start their own organization?
My advice would be wherever your business is, I always tell people to take care of your footprint. So if your business is in Oklahoma City, join a local chamber or join a local Rotary Club. If you're able to join multiple chambers, because as a business, you may have multiple locations that may or may not be in proximity of different cities. If the budget is there, then join multiple chambers. If not, then join the chamber in which your business is located, because you definitely need to be able to get a hold of those folks if something happens, or if you need specific, connections with that area that you're in. With starting an organization, I would just make sure that all of your contacts are in place, your attorney, your CPA. Again, another good reason of being part of the chamber is we've got, a referral of folks. I can tell you about 10 different CPAs. I can specifically say which ones that I would use. Same thing with attorneys. And so the difference is when you do have to, do things legally, and logistics are part of that process. It's good to have some folks that want to help another business that's establishing. And so the chamber world is the way we establish kind of our goal is we want a reciprocated relationship. We want to be able to come to you and you come to us for things of that nature. And so if you are passionate about an organization or something that requires the formation of an organization, I would talk through and really find some key, I don't want to say get a coach, because there's people that can do it and talk you through, and find some successful people that you can visit with you. I'll give you an example, Jack Warner. He's a great person that allows me to think. And sometimes when I think what I want, by the time I'm done talking to him, it's not what I thought I wanted. So I think just having somebody to talk to, whether if it's going into your chamber and saying, what about this? And is there a need? This is the kind of the passion that I have. And so there's so many of those ideas that, again, people want to be heard. And when they start talking to more and more people, the execution of that plan comes to pass. And what we don't want is people to have this great idea and never fulfill that expectation. And so execution is huge, and it requires work. And so just think 3 years out. I think the worst thing would be, I want to start a business and a year later, all my expectations weren't met. And that's not realistic. And especially if you don't have goals quarterly or semi-annually. And so you need to have a 1-year plan, a 3-year plan, and a 5-year plan. And that's the same in an organization. And so all of those things are open for conversation for people who truly care about other businesses, and especially entrepreneurs. There are so many self-employed businesses and generational businesses here in Oklahoma City. And so if they're not, because they don't have a father or a mother or a grandpa or a grandma that started the business that's passed it on down, it's going to be the business community that's going to help wrap ourselves around these new and thriving and great ideas, and just individuals that want to conquer the world. So just meet with business owners, meet with generational businesses, find out what all that you can find out before you get started. And don't join the chamber if you're not really ready, because we don't want you not to be ready to really promote your business, because a year later you may thought you didn't get anything out of the chamber, when it may not have been a full thought. It may not have been a plan that you really thought about or had conversation about. So I think a coach is good, but you don't have to hire somebody. And just reach out to some local businesses and organizations and learn. Don't stop learning, for sure.
Oh, absolutely, Jamie. This has been wonderful. If people want to get a hold of you, where can they find you?
My email is probably the best way. Jamie Crowe, and that's my first and last name, JamieCrowe at southokc.com. And South is spelled out SOUTHOKC.com. You can email me anytime. I am always available for questions, conversations, Zoom meetings. I love getting in front of people. I love to talk. So there you go. Give me a call.
We have that.
Or email me.
We have that in common. We both love to talk.
Yes.
Thanks so much for being my guest today, Jamie. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Travis. Anytime. Have a great day. Thanks for listening.